listening to Peak One Sports.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for listening to this episode of the Sports Page on the Peak One Sports Network. I'm Ashton and Chris. That's Chris Robb, and we are ready to get you going for this Rangers World Series. How does that feel, Chris?
It feels amazing. It was, I think when we last talked, they were up 2-0, if I'm not mistaken. And then, the wheels just fell off, and I was like, oh, here we go.
That seems like so long ago.
I know.
It happened so quickly. I was thinking, like, man, no, you're a week behind. Surely we did a show since before, but no, you're right. Last two shows, they're up 2-0 in Baltimore. They're up 2-0 against Houston, and then all of a sudden they're in the World Series.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm that Game 6 win. That's probably one of the biggest wins obviously the Game 7 win is a big win, but that Game 6 win that really snatched the momentum from them. That was just one of those, we have a chance, because I thought it was over. I thought Houston had figured them out. They would go down there, lose, get smacked up, and then that'd be it. But they showed resilience. They showed heart. They showed that they're one of the best offenses in the league. So I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm shocked. I can't wait. I'm just very excited about it.
Yeah, you use that word resilience, and I think that's a good way to describe this team. The highs have been really high and the lows have been really low. Thinking all the injuries they had, losing DeGrom and then losing every time you lose a really good pitcher, somebody else steps up. The front office making trades, lots of times, when they lose, I think it was like 14 out of 17 or something, or not right there at the end of the year, but when they first gave up the lead, we're like, well, that's it. And then they got the lead back and then lose in miraculous fashion on the last day of the season in Seattle. And I thought, that's it. I mean, it's a young team. They outperformed what we thought they did. Maybe next year. But they're
a year early. I feel like it's like a year or two early.
Yeah, and then they go out and they sweep the Rays. They sweep Baltimore. They get up 2-0 early. And then again, they lose 3 straight. And you're thinking, well, Houston's been here before. They know how to handle this. But credit to them, whether it's Bochy or Corey Seager or whoever is leading this team and keeping them looking forward.
I feel like Corey Seager has a lot to do with it just because of his experience. He's been a World Series MVP. He's been through it. A lot of those guys just waiting on, they've just waiting on their opportunity. And, it's a lot of young guys as well stepping up. Evan Carter, you got Josh Jung. So it's like it's a good mix of, vet leadership and a good mix of young talent that's showing up.
So before we get too far into this episode, we have a couple of sponsor shout outs. As always, Betalytics. Never bet with your gut. Use Betalytics. Their AI dashboard, or they use AI algorithms, and check out their dashboards, player props, all kinds of stuff. We talked about it all before. Description in the description box down below, Betalytics.com. You can use code PEAK1, get 25% off when you sign up today. And we also have a new sponsor, Shankit Golf. You go to shankitgolf.com. There's a lot of sports apparel or golf apparel, more laid back stuff, fun, different kinds of apparel, not too serious. If you're one of those guys, go check it out. A lot of cool polos, quarter zip pullovers, kind of like this one, if you can see it. This isn't theirs.
I'm gonna have to check them out.
This isn't theirs, but one like that. Hats, gloves, they have golf bags, they have all kinds of stuff. Cool little logos. I just got mine ordered mine today, so hopefully it's here by next week. I'll wear it and show y'all. But yeah, go to again, that's also in the description box, but shankit.com. Use promo code PEAK1 and you get 15% off your order.
Yeah. So do you golf often?
I try to. I
Hmm.
don't golf as often as I want to, and I
Hmm.
should have done it the last couple of weeks with all this great weather. Now it's raining.
Yeah.
And the other end of this rainstorm, it's going to be like 50 degrees the high.
Oh man.
So surely you'll get back in the
Yeah.
70s one weekend, and
Yeah.
I can go out and play golf. I used to play golf like maybe I'll say once a month. That's probably exaggerating, but uh, you know, 3, 4 times throughout, 3, 4, 5 times throughout the spring and the summer, and we'll get a couple in the winter because we live in Texas and it's not
Yeah. Yeah.
always an ice storm here. Um, but I try. I'm not a real serious golfer. I have fun and I can play with serious golfers.
Hmm.
Uh, Not compete. I still suck, but
Yeah.
I'm fine playing with that. I preferred let's just go out and have fun. Um,
Yeah.
and
I want to get
not be
into it.
too
That's why
crazy.
I've golfed like once or twice, but one of my best friends, he golfs all the time. Like, he'll go on his lunch break and just hit, and I'm like, and that it seems pretty cool. Like, and I'm
Yeah,
not the worst at it, so like I want to like kind of just get into it a little bit
it's a
more.
lot of muscle memory. I realized that there was a period I went. I played the weekend before we went on vacation. I played during that week a few days later, and then played the very next
Hmm.
day after vacation, and then another. It was like 4 times in maybe 3 weeks, and I could
Hmm.
tell my rounds were getting better and better. And then, I mean, it's all about consistency, not necessarily just playing rounds, um, but going to the driving range, doing all that. Golf's one
Yeah,
of
gotta
those
do
that
it. Yeah.
you can be pretty good and still suck really bad.
Still.
I think,
Yeah.
nothing against any professional sport, because they're all very difficult, and you're talking about the elite of the elite that make it to that level.
Hmm.
But I feel like golf is one where if you make it to the PGA Tour, you make it professional
You're like,
golf,
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
is a bigger accomplishment.
Then
Um,
like, yeah, like being just like physically imposing, making it into the NFL as opposed to. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get it. Or like tennis. I think tennis is one of those sports as well too. It's like if you're in that, if you go to the Wimbledon or U.S. Open and um, at that high level, yeah, you're definitely one of the elite for sure.
yeah, golf is one where you can go out there and you think you have a good round, and for you it's a good round. Um,
Hmm.
but it's fun in the sense you're not really playing against anybody. You're comparing scores, but nobody's stopping you from doing anything. You're just
Yeah,
going out there and
exactly.
having
Yeah,
fun. So if you go play with your friend who's really good and he kicks your ass, you still have a
it
good
doesn't
game.
feel like it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was about to say you can
you can
have a
have a
good time
really good
still.
round and still get your ass kicked, and it doesn't feel like it just
Yeah,
because he's keeping score.
yeah.
Uh,
Right.
but yeah, we brought this sponsor on because they were a good fit for kind of our mentality. Everybody here, for the most part, kind of likes playing golf or likes the idea of playing
Hmm.
golf, but
Yeah,
in a more
definitely.
laid back sense. So yeah, go check
Yeah,
them
yeah,
out. Um,
yeah.
every sponsor we have, promo codes always peak1, and you get a bit of a discount. Also, subscribe to our YouTube page. Subscriptions are climbing. Keep that, keep our page growing, and you'll know every time we go live or have a new episode. And if you like what you hear, hit the like button. If you don't, hit it twice. Whatever that does, just unlike us.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I said it last week. I thought it was very good timing that the Cowboys were on a bye week, so we could all just
Hmm.
really focus on the Rangers, in
Yeah,
the ALCS. And now for the first part of the World Series, by the time the Cowboys play, we'll already have a couple of games
like
going.
game three, yeah, two. Yeah, they start.
So they
They
skip
start Friday,
two
right?
three two. Yeah, Friday it's 2-3-2, and a game in between.
Yeah.
So that means Game 6 is going to be next Friday when we have a football game, Friday Night Lights here on the Peak One Sports Network. I'm going to be calling one of those games. So,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I,
Hopefully, it doesn't get to game six.
well, you kind of want them to win it all at home if they're going to win it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
at the same time, I'm like, I'd rather them just win it in
Just win it. Yeah.
Philadelphia, because I don't want to say, well, let's let it get 7 games. I know
Hmm.
we're looking way ahead, but still, uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that moment of their first championship, I don't I'm gonna have it playing
That's kind of how I
regardless.
was.
I might be a little
That's how I was when the
distracted.
Mavs. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
That's how I was when the
the
Mavs game. When the Mavs they were on the road, and I really wanted them to, because it was 1-1, and they came back and they dropped game 3,
and then
and I
they
just
won the
wanted them
last
to
three
sweep.
after that. Yeah.
Yeah, and they won. Yeah, so I just, it did feel good to see them, winning on the road. It just felt good in general for them to win it, but you always want that home championship. Like it just looks, the Warriors did it. It looks great. Like it just something about the fans and then the streamers and everything happening. Like that's just something that you would want. But I just hope they get it done.
So because they have a few days break here, we're able to record this show a little leniently. As of right now, we don't know who they're going to play that game in the NLCS Game 7s tonight. But we do know the game 1 will be Friday in Arlington. By the time this episode drops, we'll obviously know who they'll be playing. But games 1 and 2 in Arlington, Friday, Saturday, off Sunday. Another pretty good reason, if you're a Cowboys fan, great schedule. You get that break, focus on the Cowboys. And then it's back to back to back in Philly, games 3, 4, and 5, if necessary, 5 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, off Thursday. Then it's a Friday, Saturday. That's really convenient if they do get to come back to Texas and they win it in game 6 or even 7, that you are home, but it's a Friday or Saturday night game. They're going to be partying at Texas Live, and it'll be a fun atmosphere. But I'm not going to be splitting hairs. I mean, the Rangers are favored regardless of who comes. I think they're a little more favored against the Diamondbacks. But I'm just going to sit back and relax and watch this game. I'm not going to worry too much saying we want Arizona, we want Philly. We swept Philly. Philly obviously has, we talked about it, has the better home field advantage, a better team, and the Diamondbacks you didn't do really well against. It wasn't a very great matchup.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, they both have their pros and cons. They didn't really do well against Washington. Obviously, Philly, they probably have the best home field in baseball, like as far as like the remaining playoff teams. But I think Houston had a good one too, and they didn't do well against Houston in the regular season.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
Yeah, so I really don't have a preference, truthfully. I would rather face Philly, but at the same time, it's like, oh, you go up there and you can you can drop 3 straight, literally, like So it's just I guess it's just whoever comes out, you just gotta.
I know before before the ALCS, I wanted to face Minnesota. Even though they weren't that great against Minnesota, but losing to Minnesota would have been more bearable than losing to Houston. Not that losing to Philly is worse than Houston, but
I think it is though.
it would be a lot. Yeah, that's true. But
they little brother Texas, like they even call Globe Life Minute Maid Park Jr. Like it's just like the little comments that they make, and it's just like I'm glad they won, because I have quite a bit of Houston fans that are on my timeline and in my life. So
and
but anyways,
maybe losing to Arizona if you lost to Arizona would feel less sting than losing to Philly. I don't know. But the run they've been on, beating Tampa, who had a better record than any of the other division champs outside of Baltimore, then you beat Baltimore, then you beat the defending champs. Like it's going to be a really great run if you end up going to Philly and playing Philly and beating them. The only thing that would have been better would be to beat the Braves if they were able to do that, because they have the best record. But I don't think anybody's saying anything negative about this team. They played really good teams. So if you end up playing Arizona, and I feel like it might be one of the lower ratings in World Series history if they they play Arizona. Texas is a big market. I mean, the DFW area is a big market, so
Houston's probably not going to watch like that. Trying to think,
because I feel like if you take the Phillies, their rivalry with Mets, the Nationals, they'll probably watch to see if they can lose. Arizona, I don't feel like the Dodgers look them as a rivalry.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Texas might be their I don't know. They kind of have when they used to do interleague play as a special thing, they would have Arizona and Texas, or Texas and Colorado would be like the rivals. I guess for regional purposes. When Houston moved to the American League, so I'm not sure, because Arizona's not really a big baseball town. Not that Dallas Fort Worth is, but it's a big major metropolitan area with 8 million people, and I don't know. I don't necessarily have a preference. I'm not going to get overworked or try to count games ahead to make sure they win at home or whatever. I'm just going to try to enjoy the ride, and hopefully they don't get swept or anything.
Especially because they should already have a World Series, but this one, it'll be their first if they pull it out. They're 1 out away from a World Series. Back in 2011? I think that's when they played St. Louis. So I'm looking forward to it. I want to see how they respond coming off of that big Astros victory, because it's easy to lull into it like, oh, we just beat the defending champs, we just beat Big Brother, we just did all this, and then you come in and you drop one at home. Then you don't want that to happen, and it doesn't look like they're on that trajectory, because they've played so well and they've dominated pretty much every series except for this last one. Obviously it was a close one, but I'm eager to see how they respond.
Yeah, they were criticized after clinching a playoff spot and doing the champagne in the locker room, and then maybe a little bit criticized once they won against Tampa, and then they did it against Baltimore. So it doesn't seem like they're getting too big ahead when they win. They celebrate, have fun, but they like, hey, we have more work to do. Scherzer starts, it does okay. I think
he's getting back into it.
I think Bochy did a good job of pulling him when he did. Between him and Montgomery, they put a good, however long, 6 and 6.25. I know they pitched 6 innings, maybe 2 1/3. Maybe it was 5.
And then Chapman came in, and then Clark. So everyone played pretty well. I was getting text about Scherzer if they brought him back too soon, and as far as his injury goes, I don't think they brought him back too soon. He's right on pace where he's at. It just happens to be he comes back in the American League Championship Series against the Astros. Against the Astros,
if it wasn't Max Scherzer, maybe they don't bring anybody back. But luckily, he really hasn't cost you much. I mean, there's an argument to be said. Hey, in game 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3. He started game 3.
He came back 3. Yeah.
There was an argument to be made. He gave up 3 runs, and you lost by 3 runs. But it was he was pretty effective. He had some bad innings, and in this one, Bochy, let him get in situational baseball. Pitched, I think, 44, 45 pitches. Got back into the groove, and then he got him out of there. First inning, gave up a run. Second inning was pretty much shut down. I think it was a 1, 2, 3 inning, and then he gave up another run. I think in the 4th inning when he finally got taken out. Yeah,
he got taken out.
So, I have no issue with him. It being Uvalde, Montgomery, and then Scherzer games 1, 2, and 3. I think that's how it should be. You can, a lot of people bring up Scherzer's history in the playoffs. He hasn't been great. He's been pretty bad recently, but honestly, that's what he lives for. He's got the experience, and
that's why we got him.
After Montgomery and Uvalde, you really don't have someone you can say, lock down let's not put Scherzer, and let's, you don't want to do, Dunning split with Perez or whatever. I'm sure that would be fine, but when you have Scherzer there, if you're going to think about doing a split anyways, just do what they did last night and throw Scherzer in there.
Exactly.
See, let him eat a few innings for you, hopefully only give up a run or two, and move to Dunning or whoever.
Yeah, just limit the damage. I feel like that's what he does because you put in Perez, you probably give up 5 runs, 6 runs in 2 innings,
In
and
that situation, I
that's
think
definitely
so,
not what you
yeah.
want. Yeah. Yeah. So, especially against a team like whoever it is, either Philly or Arizona, they're both, you know, they both can score, you know, fairly quickly. So they're just like the Rangers in a sense. I think the Rangers have the best offense remaining. Obviously in the playoffs, but all these teams are here for a reason, and they're in a game 7 just like you were in a game 7. They're pretty much in the same situation, and um, you just got to come out ready. You really got to come out ready.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, by the time everybody's watching this, we already know who it is. And we said we could break it down, but we don't care one way or the other. Maybe just let the game go, make it like an 18 inning, 19 inning, 20 inning game or something. You still get a few days off, so it may not screw up their pitching rotation as much as you might think it is, but definitely be an advantage for the Rangers. But that's probably unlikely. But at least you have, let's see, 3 full days, technically 4 days off, to get to reset your rotation and to really get it back in order. And Montgomery's been great. He was great last night. Just the second time ever he's come in a relief position, and he ended up getting the win, pitching his 2 1/3 innings, whatever he pitched.
Yeah.
So great.
Oh, and let's shout out Adolis Garcia really fast.
Yeah, I was about to bring him up.
Yeah, we had to mention him. Like he
ALCS
looks like the best
MVP.
player. Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, he looks like he's the best player in the league right now. But Corey Seager is, obviously him and Corey Seager, that duo is, they're showing why they're really the reason why we're here at this point. And for him to have 5 home runs in four games, and just the after the whole fight that he had with whoever that was, and for him to bounce back, he gets booed every time he goes to the plate.
Not Altuve, Abreu.
Yeah, Abreu, yeah. So, and to get booed, every time you come to the plate, and to hit 4 for 4 or 4 for 5, and 2 home runs, that's like, I can't even describe it. That's something that you dream about.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody about it, just kind of spitting it out there that because he stood and just watched that one. It wasn't a home run, but it hit the wall. And then the second time he hit a home run, he kind of turned around and was like talking smack. I thought, they're ahead. Next time Garcia comes up, what if they hit him again? Assuming they're still out of the game, and it's just kind of like whatever. And then they bring Abreu in to face because it was Garcia starting off the inning. So I thought, why wouldn't, if you were going to do it, this would be the great time. And then Abreu comes in. I was like, there's no way they could do that. And they end up hitting the next guy anyways. So Abreu faces 3. He hit one right-handed batter all year. And in the span of 3 batters, he hit 2 of them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I'm just glad he's at the house. I'm just glad he's at home, because I just really, I play with the Astros on MLB The Show, but I don't like them in they're just, they always have that 2017s in my head. They just have always been kind of just like, they're kind of like what the Warriors turned into after that second year, and they were like shooting and turning around, which is dope to me. I like it, but just for them to be the in-state rival, and they're always just comparing, and the whole Minute Maid Park Jr. thing, and I'm just glad they got it done.
Yeah, for sure. Especially after they stole the division in the last week.
Yeah.
Up to the last day. I mean, the Rangers just had to win, and they had the division. It would have just hurt so much. I mean, because Astros have only been in that big brother role, bullying the Rangers around for the last 7 years.
7, 8 years.
Because it had been the exact opposite from 2010 to 2016. When the Rangers made the playoffs 5 of those years, 4 or 5
Mm-hmm.
5 of those years. It was the exact same thing because the Astros were just terrible and the Rangers were nearly sweeping them every year, winning
Every year.
And before then, the Astros weren't necessarily a more prestigious franchise than the Rangers. They had never won a World Series. They had made it to one and
They've been to
gotten
one,
swept.
yeah.
They gotten swept. Like 2005, they gotten swept. So
Mm-hmm.
really, the Astros and Rangers were pretty much par for the course. Franchise wise, the Rangers had made 2, and then the Astros come in 2017 as the Rangers are kind of on their downturn. And then make it to 7 straight ALCSs, making 3 World Series, winning 2 of them.
That's
whatever,
impressive.
whatever you want to say about 2017 World Series. I mean, 2017 season in general. Either way, they've won 2. They've they've just been dominant for the last 7 years. So, the commentators alluded to it that maybe the Astros are kind of I mean, they still have a really good roster, but a lot of contracts they got to talk about. The managers, old, talking about this may have been his last season, and who knows that they gave up a lot of their farm system, a lot of their good players to get Verlander back. So they might be in a position where if they don't start off great, do they think about, hey, let's speed up this process, start trading some of Altuve's on his final year, and see what they can do. I don't know. I'm not saying rip the cord yet. Say maybe give him another year or 2.
I think you give that roster one more year at least. I mean, you made it to the ALCS. That's not a down year. You
just won the division.
For their standards, it might be.
Yeah.
For their standards, it might be, but it's just one more year. You still have Yordan Alvarez. You still have Altuve. You still have that core. Maybe running back one more year, see what happens with Dusty Baker. Because, I saw that. I just saw that today that he was thinking about retiring. So, I don't know. You never know.
No, what we do know is next time we talk to you, let's see, Wednesday, we might have a World Series champion one way or the other. That'd be pretty quick. Yeah. But next year, we're going to have a lot more idea of if these Rangers can win it all this year. But guys, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Sports Page. Next week we'll talk Rangers and we'll probably sprinkle in a little more Cowboys. But thanks for listening. Until next time, I'm Ashton.
I'm Chris. See you guys.
See you guys later.